I hope I'm audible to everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Prashant, and I am the design lead of JDSC and IT Jalandhar. And I welcome you all to this session of UI UX, this workshop and introductory session to design, where we will be teaching you design from very start. And this would be a amazing session. And we have people from second year of JDSC and IT Jalandhar, the designers that will be teaching you design. We have Himangi and Samrit are like very wonderful designers that will be teaching you design and taking you to this journey of UI UX. So I hope everyone likes this session. Uh, I I introduce you to Himangi. Himangi.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'll be taking over and I'm the first speaker of the day. So we'll start with introduction to UI UX. Yeah, so the agenda of today's session would be first we'll be talking about design thinking, all the steps that are involved in it. Second, we'll be talking about relevancy of a design, like why are we talking about design? Why is it important in today's world? Thirdly, we'll be talking about what is exactly UI and UX. Fourth, we'll be talking about design procedure. Then there'll be design and collaborative tools. And then we'll take you through a fun little journey and where we'll show you that what's the good portion and what's the bad portion in some designs. And then in the end, we'll show you some resources which will help you get started on your design journey. So first, what is design thinking? Design thinking is that you are given a problem. आपको कोई problem देता है कि हम मुझे ये end product चाहिए, and through that you follow some certain procedures which will end in creating the final product. तो पहला step होता है empathize, कि आप देखते हो कि जो आपको problem मिली है वो किसको affect कर रही है, and what are the users. You research the user needs of the problem. Secondly, you ideate it, then you have the problem, like आप define करते हो कि वो problem है क्या. आप problem, पहले हमने users की बात की कि अगर आपको कोई problem मिली है उसमें users कौन है और उसको affect कौन करता है. Secondly, we talk about the problem itself. You define what is the problem and then you research it thoroughly, उसके statistics ढूंढो. Thirdly, we ideate कि आप like any problem you have, तो उसके जो कन्वेंशनल सॉल्यूशंस क्या हो सकते हैं. यू थिंक आउटसाइड द बॉक्स ऑफ इट, कि आपने उसको एनिमेट करना है या आपने टेक्स्ट लगाना है, या यू वांट टू क्रिएट समथिंग दैट रेजोनेट्स, दैट you look at something and the solution to the problem is visible. So first you ideate, then you have a prototype which is the first solution. आपका कोई client है and they have given you certain set of they have described the problem to you, so you first give a prototype that okay, this is my solution to it. Is this in the vision of what you want to do or is it not? तो उसके हिसाब से you have a prototype and then you iterate again and again. You test it. You test it with you test it with the clients. You test it on a user basis, and then again this is a continuous process. You find some faults in your design, then you ideate it again, then you have another prototype, and then you test it again. And this is the design thinking. Next, to talk about relevancy of a design. So a little meme from our side. And what makes you suitable for this job? I can make your logo look bigger. Moving on. The power of design. Like, जो दिखता है वही बिकता है. So design is the driving force behind user engagement and satisfaction. आपको कोई भी चीज हम कुछ whatever we are engaging with, whatever we are interacting with, our first thought is how does it look? How is it suitable for us? Are we able to navigate it easily? Is it meeting our demands? So it is a driving force behind user engagement. It Yeah, it's not just how pretty it looks, how the color works, but how is the user flow, how is the user experience, how are the buttons placed, are things making sense in the design, is it too cluttered. ऐसे सब चीजों से, that is the power of design. And in the digital age, everything is online, so many apps, websites, everything you see. Like even for this session we had to make thumbnails, we had to make insta posts, we had to make Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere. Everything you see is design. That's why design is important. Yeah, so user-centric design, and this is a type of design in which design relevance stems from understanding and meeting the user's needs. Users' persona guide decisions for products that resonate, and aligning design with user experience enhances overall relevance. We are talking about the user, that we want to satisfy the user. So we are talking. So we have a user-centric design, and the design's ongoing impact is design is not static. Trends change, fashion changes, there are new needs that people require, so it evolves with feedback and industry trends, and continuous testing and iteration are essential for maintaining relevance. We have to stay relevant. It's a very fast paced world, trends change like this, so continuous testing and iteration are essential for maintaining relevance. A successful design is one that stands the test of time and adapts to the changing user demands. So now that we have talked about the relevancy of design, we can now talk about how to stay relevant in the design. We have to continuously change ourselves, we have to continuously iterate. So how do we do that? We do that using UI UX. So UI UX is a career that you can also take, and it deals with user interface and user experience. They are both two connected terms, and UI without UX is like beauty without brains, and you'll understand it further. So yeah, we have this illustration here. Let's take this example of a ketchup bottle. So if the first of all, in the ketchup bottle you can see that the base is large and the upper part is smaller, but it is on its, like, it's standing upright. So if we want the sauce gets collected at the bottom, and then we have to then, as you can see in the image itself, we have to tap it at the back so that the it comes out. On the other hand, another UI can be that it's a squeezy bottle, and the sauce is upside down, so that it, if there's less sauce left over, then it gets collected at the bottom and you can squeeze it easily. What we are doing, the UI of it is, when we are thinking about it, we would think that there are, okay, two possible iterations, but the user experience of it is in the second image that you can see. So now we go to the more conventional academic and tabular form. So UI stands for user interface. It is the how of a product. Like, how are we going to do it? It focuses on the looks and the style. Like, you think about the type, you think about the fonts, you think about the spacing, you think about the colors, the visual elements attracting users, and it is about the patterns and the creativity. The UX stands for user experience, the why of a product. It provides meaningful and relevant experiences to users, and it you think of how the user will interact with the product, and that comes under the user experience. You analyze data and you test it. You test it, then you again come back to ideate, and then you prototype, and the cycle goes on until you have a good product that resonates with everybody. This is a quote about UI and UX design. The why and how are inseparable, so that we have two bounded processes oriented towards the same goal, bringing content to a user in the most comfortable and pleasant way. We are designing here, we are trying to meet user demands, we are trying to make sure that the product or the client we have, their services or the products reach the most broadest of users. There are a lot of people who interact with the product and they find it easy to interact with the product. That's why the UI element is the eye catching element, that okay, this looks pretty, so we are gonna engage it. Arises your curiosity that why should we go look into it. And the UX part is how easy it is to negative and navigate, and how the user process of it is uh, and how the user process of it goes on. So now we have talked about design thinking, and we have talked about UI UX. That why are we talking about that how can we implement our design thinking. So now we talk about the design procedure, that what are all the steps, how do we actually in a systematic way tackle a problem and have a design. So there we must immediately translate the idea in our mind into design and code it. So and like all of the developers and the researchers, UX designer, product manager, copywriter, they all come together, and then they tell that okay, this is what we want right now. So first of all is plan, bring together all the information, create team harmony, and focus on business goal and user needs. So even with planning month of learning, like we had meetings with our seniors, we had meeting with our DSC leads, and we had all the information together. We saw various other designs on other platforms, and we just came together, and first we bring all the information together, that okay, what do we want to do. We think about, okay, these are maybe the steps that we are going to follow. We divide it amongst our own team, and we need to have that one theme in mind. And even with the hack mall that is coming up, we need to have a goal that okay, this is what we want to do, so we'll plan accordingly. Second is to research. Now that we know what we are going to do, we conduct user research to fill in the gaps, validate problems, and gather insights to make decisions. You have all the information that you need, that as to what do you want to do right now. So we research it. We think about the user interface. We observe. We have card sorting, data analysis, and UX service. Through all this, we can actually research our job, and then we can make sure that okay, the what of what we have thought that we want to do is validating the research and actual user interface. Like the users and all their problems should be in alignment with what we have planned to do. We need to validate problems, like uh, why we are designing, why we are making the products, basically to solve a problem. So we need to make sure that whatever we are trying to do is applicable in real life as well. Then we discover. We start with simple tasks, explore options, layout, and flows before dedicating more time to design. We think about the user flows, that how will the user interact with it, what are layouts. Like right now, you can see that my image is towards the left of the screen. That right now I can shift it to be at the bottom of the screen, or I can shift it to be, I can make this the ppt that I have right now. In this you can see that okay, I have a big font in the big font at the top, then smaller fonts, then I have this lavender blob at the side, that cross. So all these things are, we start with the layout, the options, and the flows. We have design exercises, so we do that. And we start with we build it from the very basic things, like we have very small things, and then we start to build upon it. Then we create the clickable wireframe prototypes. Now what are wireframe prototypes? It will be explained in the later slides as well, but it's like the most basic prototype, and we test them. Like the content should be 70 to 90% ready, and the interaction should be 99% ready. Like in the wireframe prototypes, like we have first created one prototype, and we are and like it is something that we feel, like I as a designer feel that okay, this might work well. But what I am thinking and what is actually required in the world may be different. Like it may not really align. It may align to some extent, but there might be some problems that I would have not thought of. So we first create clickable wireframe prototypes, and we test them. We test them. Maybe we show them to the clients, we show them to some statistic users, we use them ourselves. And in this, like what all content should be there, it should be nearly ready. It's okay if it's not fully done, because we need to leave some space for for again iteration and what all problems we have faced, so we need to do that. But the interactions, like how the user is going to interact, like even in the animation down, you can see that how will we swipe from one place to the other, how will we go down. Like if we think of a food menu, if we think of a travel menu, like clicking where will lead me where, all those sorts of things are the clicking interactions. So with the clicking interactions, we need to, like we'll click and then we'll move to some place. It should all make sense, and all the flow should be there. So that's how we come to the design part of it. Then actually the wireframing, a wireframe is a simple visual guide that represents the skeletal framework, the skeletal framework of a design or a digital product. Think of it as a blueprint for your final design. We are first talking about the layout of it. That is what wireframing is all about. As you can see that okay, how if we want to add a like whatever in the website or the app, whatever features you want to implement, all those features can be implemented using these kind of things. Like uh, if you want to add a comment, like even you're watching it on YouTube, so how can you add a comment, how can you like maybe move to a different playlist, all that clicks and all the layout of the website, the main screen, the small button, the large button, the reaction part, the number of subscribers, the number of current viewers, the live chat, all of that come under like just a simple visual, the layout of it. That is what wireframing is all about. And then the prototype, it allows you to create interactive flows that explore how a user may interact with your designs. Prototypes are a fantastic way to preview user flows, test interaction with users, and present your designs to your stakeholders. So yes, in prototypes, as you can see, like we make prototypes. We can make prototypes in apps such as Figma, in which like you can definitely mention that okay, if you click here, the design will go here, and if you even zoom in on the picture, like all the arrows are made that if you move to the right, this page will open, if you move to the left, this page would open. And it all provides a cohesive view. It provides a cohesive, like this is what the actual final product will look like. It saves time to create prototypes as well. Ki you are not providing the finished product, you are just showing them that this is our vision of it, this is what we want to present, this is what we have made of your problem that you have given us. So if any changes or if any color palette you don't like, you don't like the layout of it, you don't think that it is really good and interactive with all the users, that time like these prototypes help a lot. Like, and if you conduct a survey, like if you have like let it out in the world for once, you can you can also make guesses on what elements are the users interacting with the most, what are they liking about it, what they are not liking about it, and all such things. So in that you can prototype it. And then again we can judge on what all features the users are not interacting with. Like I may have some feature in my head that may be outdated now. It's a fast pacing world. It's not possible for everyone to be fully aware of all the trends. So if there is something that the users are not interacting with a lot, then you can do that, and like you can remove and you can actually make your design better and take it to the next level. Then the design, the wireframe that becomes the design system is constructed and analyzed. While we are talking about it, we need to keep in mind all of our design principles, all of the design systems, looks and feels, the high fidelity UI, and the prototypes. Like in right now, if we like, there are many looks and feels of the design as well. The client may want a more cozy, warm look, or they might want a sleek and shiny look. There can be pastel colors, there can be retro colors, there can be neon colors. Like if we talk about web3 right now, they are in the cyberpunk, they are in the neon themes. But like, and if we want a travel website, then it should have bright colors. If we want it a little more pulled back, then we have less colors. All that things, all of what the client wants the product to feel like, that's all the looks and feels of it. So we use that, we interact with that, and that's how design comes into place. And yeah, so now we have the layout, we have the proper layout of what we have conducted our design procedure. Now we move from low fidelity to high fidelity. We have the wireframe over here. Like if you focus in there, it's like the name, username, and badge. We have not filled all the information yet, but we have a very proper layout that okay, this is how it's going to look like. And see, this frame is actually a iPhone frame, like it's a phone frame. So like from the phone frame, we might have to like we are converting it to an actual layout. So there may be popular, like we have now this design is approved that we have the popular posts over here, we'll fill them over here, then recent posts like this. So all that we have, that was our wireframe, it was approved, we have tested it. Now we move on to the high fidelity. Maybe we can still make a little tweaks, like We have the user where that the icon we have changed it from square and like rectangle to a circular one. Okay, maybe they want to keep it in cohesion with like how Instagram is these days, how WhatsApp is these days. So users are like we as users become accustomed to seeing certain things in a certain way. Like if we are thinking about icons, we get accustomed to see them in round things these days. So we have kept in with the trends and we have made it round. We have added a font. We have made it a little curvy. Then we have had then we have had the popular post right down, and then we add in the icons. We add little snippets of information. We have also added, as you can see, these option and that you can click, and then maybe they'll take you to another page. So that's how we moved. The major portion of design is still the wireframing part, because in that you're thinking of all the possibilities of how you're going to work, and then you just come in and then you add in the information into it. So now I would like Samrit to come and take over. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So from here on, I'll be continuing with the design and collaborative tools. So Imangi, can you turn to the next page? So the very first collaboration tool that we see is Notion. So you can share your pages with the clients, teammates, or maybe another collaborative partners on Notion. Notion is basically used for various other collaborations too. इफ यू पोस्ट योर पेज ऑन नोशन, आपका पेज एक पर्सनल पेज नहीं रहता है, पब्लिक पेज बन जाता है. तो आप कोई भी पेज अपना क्रिएट करते हो, डिजाइन करते हो, और कोई भी रिसर्च के लिए यू पोस्ट इट ऑन नोशन एंड देन इट बिकम्स अ पब्लिक पेज. आफ्टर दैट वी हैव गूगल कीप. कोई भी हमारे क्लाइंट हैं, उनको क्या प्रोडक्ट चाहिए होता है, उसकी वो पहले एक गाइडलाइंस बना के रखते हैं. सो द प्रोडक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स कि उनको क्या क्या चाहिए अपने प्रोडक्ट में, we can keep that information in Google Keep. Next we have TL Draw. ये एक open source library है जिसमें you can create variety of wireframes and canvas which can be used furthermore. And next our very favorite Figma. इसके बारे में तो we'll be talking about in next two slides as well. So the next slides talks about Himangi. So the design tools, the very famous design tools we have on the screens are Sketch. Now Sketch is basically for Mac OS. So हम ये ज़्यादातर use नहीं कर सकते हैं. Figma is the one which is widely used. And then we have Adobe XD. Now, which is better between Figma and Adobe XD? The answer is Figma. Why? Because Adobe XD is paid and Figma provides a free version. You can also have it on your laptop as an app, or you can also use a browser version. Then we have various other tools as well. And next we'll be talking about all the requirements for the Figma and why Figma must be used. Himangi? Now, why we should use Figma is there is no installation required, and you can also use a browser version and an app version. It is platform independent. It can be used on our laptops or mobile phones, and it is very industry standard. All the required plugins are there in the Figma. Very easy and effective to use. It also has various free plans and regular updates आते रहते हैं, so it is very bug free. And you also have your personal Figma community, so you can interact with people, you can find various ideas as well. Now the resources part we'll be discussing. The very first resources are blogs. If you are someone who likes reading a lot about information and if you want to learn more about Figma, we have listed the resources. First is UX collection and then UX plans. All of these resources are well versed in all the information you need to require for UI and UX, as both of them are explained by my fellow mate Himangi. Then we'll be discussing about YouTube channels. If you're someone who likes to learn through YouTube channels, then various YouTube channels are also listed. I would request Himangi to switch that slide. So the very famous YouTube channels are listed here. And if you are someone who is more comfortable with English, then English channels are also listed. Many international viewers are also there. So for them, channels are also listed. The very next slide shows us the communities. Now, while you're making a design, you need to have inspirations and what sources you'll be looking for. Communities like Dribble, Pinterest, Behance, these can be used to find our inspirations. We gather all the inspirations and we collect it on a platform, and then the collage of the inspirations becomes our mood board. The very next slide shows how a mood board might look like. In this page, we are shown a picture of a mood board. As you can see, it includes all the colors and all the related images to our design. And this will be our inspiration for all the designs we'll be making. Then we have tools. These tools are other than Figma. We have a Figma, which is very well tooled, but after that we have Undraw, Unpattern, UI Pattern, sorry, Whimsical, and Cooler. Cooler is very amazing actually. Cooler is used to generate various colors. For the next segment, we have this is quite interesting actually. Be a critique, judge some designs with us. We'll be showing you some designs. Some snapshots will be given to you, which are taken from a very renowned platforms, and we'll be looking at what problems you might face. As you can see on the page, we have two layouts. The one is properly aligned and the other is not aligned. So the one which is properly aligned looks much better. It has a better layout. And the one which is disaligned might confuse a user or might overwhelm them. Next up, we'll be discussing majorly 4 pointers. The 4 bad UI mistakes that can happen, and those are overlapping elements. Some websites might have overlapping elements. We'll be discussing that later. And then badly prioritizing elements, cluttered layouts, and high contrast and visibility. Let's look at those examples. Now, this snapshot is taken from X, previously known as Twitter. We can see that there is an overlapping plus icon. Now, this is obscuring our tweet's text. Now, although no doubt that Twitter has one of the most fantastic UX, but still these small problems can affect our user experience on the websites. For next example, we have a snapshot of Spotify. Now, Spotify, yet again, it's very amazing. But if you see that we have two most prominent, most primary buttons, that are search and library. Now, search and library are the most important buttons on Spotify, but still you can see that these two buttons are not highlighted. But the music and podcast shows are much more highlighted than the search and library button, which again might confuse a new user. And as you can see, the sidebar of Spotify doesn't have much information. So this again is a bad prioritizing element example. For next example, we have this picture of Mozilla Firefox website. Now this is in Chinese. Neither you nor I know Chinese. So the very first thing I'll be doing is searching for the translate button. Now, if you're abroad and you go online, this is the very first thing you see. The first step would be finding the translate button. But in this case, if you look at the top right corner, no, there is no translate button. Also, if you look at the left corner, no. But the next guess would be I should scroll all the way to the bottom to find the translate button. And there you will find the option. But our ideal approach would be that whenever I'm facing or I'm going landing on a website that's not in my native language, the first option I'd be doing is translating it. So the designers might keep that in mind, that the translate button should be as easy to find as possible, so that before even logging into the website, I can understand the brand and the UX clearly. For the next example, we have, so this is a snapshot of IMDb, Internet Movie Database, very known website to the cinema lovers. The very first thing I noticed is a very prominent ad. Now, if I'm a new user and I went to the site for any information regarding a certain movie or actor, the very first thing I note is an ad. This might overwhelm my user, might confuse them because there is so much going on the page. So the layout looked much more cluttered. Instead, we can have ads on the side of the page, so that even if there is like a user who is looking at the ad, they can look at, but the content of the page is given to them clearly. For next example, this is picture of New York University. Now, the very first thing I notice is very prominent use of purple color. Now, purple color might represent their brand, but for certain user, it might look overwhelming. If I was someone who went to this site for the very first time, I might feel that the site is very monochrome and dull. It can give a feeling of melancholy. Even though some users might like it, they might understand the brand value behind the color, but for some users, it might be certain issues that they can feel that the site is not very good, and they might feel bored traveling, like going through the site. Next example. Now, these are pictures of two layouts side by side. The one layout has three buttons that are Login Me, Sign Up, and Forget Password. All three of them are quite highlighted. But the better the UI would be when the Login Me button is much highlighted than the other two options. This is a primary button, then we have a secondary button, and then we have Forget Password as a tertiary button. There is a distinctive highlighting of all three buttons on the site. So this layout happens to be a better layout than the other one that's given on the left side. For next example, we have snapshots where it is a very good example to showcase the hierarchy of the font. As the very important font is highlighted, or it is given in the bigger font than the rest of the font. If I was someone, I was the user, and I went on a site, someone like the one shown on the left side, then I would be very confused that which text to be given priority. It would take a lot of time for me to go through the page, as every text alignment is same, the text font size is same. But on the right side, this layout is much easier to go through. So this is a better UI. Next. Next example we have of contrast. On the left side, we have a very dull layout, and the right side layout is better than the left one, because we have a very prominent contrast going on. When we are dealing with designing, we aim for perfection, but sometimes a tiny little mistakes can decrease our user engagement, and it might result into the user feeling not comfortable using our design or application or a website. So such type of things are very important. And then next up, then this was all for lecture, and we have discussed that how UI and UX impacts are shown on various websites. We took examples of all the websites or the prominent websites from Spotify, X, and IMDb. One more example I would like to discuss is WhatsApps. Whenever I am using WhatsApp, the main feature is delete messaging being appearing. Now, if I sent someone a message accidentally and I deleted the very next second, but it still shows you deleted this message. Now, the question arising in the person's mind would be that why in the first place would I delete the message? Now, this is a bad UX example, and it can be improved like giving a timeline. A small 10-second gap would be given that you are sending a message and then you're deleting it. This can be very helpful. The very next example would be how Netflix hover button works. I'm surfing through Netflix and I stopped on a movie to read its context or to read all the content it have. Now, Netflix would do is it would start playing the trailer. Now, even if I want to read the content silently, it would still burst out with the loud trailer, which is again an example of bad UX. And these are the examples uh, discussed. Now, you might tell me something that you experienced for a bad UX in day to day life. Uh, Anyone in the chat? Now on the screen we have Figma. You can also download the Figma or you can use the browser version of it.
Yeah, so now that we are here, we have seen what design is, we have seen what is design thinking, what are all the procedures involved in it, and we have also looked at that what makes a design good, what is good about it, what is bad about it, and we have critiqued some designs very well. So now we are actually going to show you the tools that we actually that and with which we actually implement our designs. So like Samjeet said, that you can use it in the browser as well as on the app, but on the browser it's fairly easy. So I have an account, but like just to show you how do we use Figma, we are here now. So in Figma, if you click here, and then you can get started for free. So here you can add in your email, like let's have email, random email, Barack Obama at the rate, and then we can have a random password. I'll not tell the password, and we can create an account with it. Okay, maybe that didn't work, but yeah, like I have an account with it, so then you can get started for free, and then it's very easy to set it up on the browser itself. What and once you have set it up, it's fairly easy to do. But if we talk about like the presentation itself that we made for this session, we can let's like we can look behind the scenes into that, and we'll show you that what all did we consider while we were making the presentation, what goes behind designing actual posters and insta stuff and all that. So this is our DSC page, and like this you can see is our event PPT. So if I close this right now, this was our actual PPT, and through this, like we have, this was our final, like we have a lot of things here that we can make, but we made all the slides. We had a layout to make it more cohesive. Like if you talk here, this was our central page, like this is a big text here, this is the text that we want to use right now. This is the text that is the main headline. We want you to see it first, and it is a day one. So we have added the name of our club here, and then we have picked these elements, this background, these colors, and we have kept it the same throughout. Like this is the same, you can see the similar colors are being used throughout, and that makes it look more cohesive and more prettier. So then we have all the headings in one frames and all the content in the others. We have added images to make it more interactive. These pastel colors, we wanted to give it a warm look, so that's all we did. And then we have to make it look, to have it make more sense to us as well. We have added all these, if we are talking about design thinking, this is the slide that I want to have. If we have talked about the relevancy of design, these are the slides that we want to have. And then if we talk about the tools and all the ways that we have to we can actually use it, so Samrit would come over and tell us all the features that we can use in here. I'll sit here quietly in the corner.
See at the top left, we have various tools. The first is a selector. Uh, can you click on the drop down? Now, this says move or scale. The very next is frames. Now, when you select a frame, you can also use a shortcut F on your keyboard. It will show you wide variety of frames. You can also have phones, variety of phones like iPhone 15 or maybe some A4 size pages or slide or presentation. As you can see on your right side, we have all the frames that are available on Figma. You can select any of those, or you can have your own frame dimensions. You can change on your right side the width and height of the page. Now let's say we change it to something, and the height. So yeah, this is a custom frame. As you can see, you can have any width or height as desired. The next option we have is various shapes available: rectangle, ellipse, or a line, arrow. Again, you can have your own dimensions, radius, and this fill option, you can have a custom color. This drop down that you see here, dropper, you can choose any cursor on the screen and you can have a custom color. Let's say you pick any color right here, lavender, and then your circle is of lavender color. All right. Now, again, going back to the same option, we have a add image option right there. Yes. So you can choose any image from your download section. Or now one more feature, the thing that I feel is advantageous to browser is I would go to another tab, download an image, drag it to here. This is advantage of browser, using Figma in browser than in website. So again, let's go back to the left section of the Figma. Now here we have selected the text option. We have selected text option. Again, the shortcut to the text is T in your keyboard. You can type anything, and on this sidebar on the right, you can change the font. You can make the text more bold. You can make it bigger. The fill option right here holds the same purpose. You can change the color of the text. So yeah. And as you can see down there, you can see is option stroke. If we select the option and we can change the color. You can see there is a slight outline on the text. Screen share बंद हो गया? So we're back here. We were discussing about the stroke option. If you zoom into the text, you can see a white outline around our text. Again, you can change the color of the outline. You can make it you can have it inside your text or outside. Okay, then we have the plugin options. Now in the plugin, let's say you search for anything like arc. I want a certain bend or line in my Figma. I can search anything in this plugin option. Let's say I've searched for arc. Now I'll select the text and this text will be turned into an arc. All right. Let's go through some other plugins. And so see, we have some random shapes generated. We can make them look bigger. It's cool, right? You can generate any image, you can make it big, and you see a website, you like the design, you can copy that page here and you can iterate the design as it is. It's very fun to use actually.
Yes, so see this, it's very fun like you imagine, okay, even if you don't want to design, you're sitting here and you can spend so many hours just playing with these random images, and like you see the fill in it. It's not linear, it's not one singular color. It has various colors aligned in it. So like you can learn so many things from these uh, random blobs or whatever it is that's happening over here. And this is the move tool. It helps you move around anywhere. And like okay, so imagine me and Samrit are in this we are working on it together, and like we want to leave comments for each other. So we can just go right up to here on this comment, and then like I can leave a comment that okay, this looks good. And you can give suggestions, you can have anything. Like I'll post this, and you can do so many things with this itself. And yeah, that's Figma. Then this is something, this is mask and plugins. And yeah, so I think what we can do right now is we still have a little more time left. Yeah, this is something, this is a temporary comment. So you press down on the slash button right next to the shift, and then you can give in a temporary comment. And so this session has 10 minutes left. So yeah, you can give temporary comments like this. And then I think that right now the best thing we can do is we can play around with text. Like if I am writing something here, that okay, Samrit looks pretty today, and then we can style it in so many ways. Like okay, this is a very neutral font. Like if I want it to be a little more fun, so like I can have something like this. If I want it to be a little more curvy, or I want it to look professional, then these are the various feels that we talked about. The various feels that you can have. Like this looks more professional. If the client or the product that you want to have needs to have a professional outlook, then this is the way that you can do it. And then, like, this is the Joker man. Like, this used to be the rage in our day. And if we can have a little color in it, let's make it this color. And see, this works out pretty well. So that's Figma for you. You can have like and even with the images, we have a special like plugins are your lifesavers. Plugins can help you do so many things. So like if I want images, like I can add in Google emojis. So like I'll just search something like happy, and then it will show me the happy emojis. And then I can just drag, and then I can just drag it here, and here it is. And then you can also edit them. They're very editable. So you can change the color, and like I'll change. And this is also not linear, so you can change the color. I can make it green. I can make it whatever. And yes, you can play around with it a lot. Like, and it's really fun to do. You can do so many things with plugins itself. uh like if you have an image, like like there's a plugin for images as well. Yeah, so from the community I'll pick up some random image. Let's just say I'll write dogs itself, and then I can choose this image, and then I think it would appear somewhere. And where is it? I can't find my image. Where is my image? Can you see somebody? Where is my image?
Not yet, but it's okay. We
Yeah,
have.
okay. Then we'll have to make do, because there's this really cool feature I want to show. I use it a lot. It's my lifesaver. So we'll pick up some image from here. Okay, let's pick this image. I'll duplicate it. I'll press Control plus D and I'll duplicate it. So I'll bring it down. And okay, this is my image, right? So what I'll do with this is I'll have a plugin and I'll run remove BG and I'll run it. It will actually end up removing the background for you. Invalid for okay. The Figma gods are not happy with us today. Never mind. I think we are still having fun in our session. And Samrit, what shall we do next?
I think we should wrap the session here. We are still having another amazing session tomorrow for the day two. Arushi and Devansh would be teaching us some hands on Figma and they'll be making some cool designs.
So yeah, you
So
can
that's it.
we hope you had a good session with us today, and
Yes.
we had a lot of fun in it. It's like you see, the theory part of it is this way, but like to actually have hands-on experience and to actually show you the things that we ourselves like to do is a lot of fun. So we really hope that you had a lot of fun and you had fun staying with us here today. And yeah,
Yes,
come
I
on.
messed up a little, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys. Good night.
Bye. Take care.